Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever watching this, welcome to a new vlog. Mind the background noise, outside area, a lot of construction work happening, which is a good sign. We have a special vehicle today for review. I've already posted on Instagram just to get an idea of what people are expecting, what they want to know from this review. If you're not following me on Instagram, the link's here. That's the vehicle. Again, mind the background noise, we'll leave the location soon. So this is the new i20 1-liter turbo. In fact, you can see this here. There's a 1-liter petrol turbo, top of the spec, DCT gearbox. Thank you Fusion Hyundai for sending this. There's the Asta version and it has a sunroof. So I'm assuming this is the top end Asta O. This is a blue color, not a black color. Initially I thought it was black, but on close observation I realized it's a kind of a dark blue. I like this color scheme. Nice fancy diamond cut alloys. But the best part about this car is the front end, like the design. Look at this i20 embedded logo here and the turbo badging indicating that this is a 1-liter turbo. Nice sharp lights. This is blacked out, which I like, over any other chrome bits. The way this is designed is very funky. Design is subjective, you gotta tell me, but it has nice projector lights and a DRL DCT badge here and puddle lamps. As you can see here, whenever you come close to the car, the side mirrors open up. Nice fancy feature. I'm used to that with the Elantra and also the old i20. Door request sensors here. C-pillar is done, is very thin and narrow. There is some chrome line. I wish it was also all black, including the doors. Sharp cuts here for the light. Again, i20 logo embedded here. Some black bits here. Some more chrome bits here. And from the back, you have that diffuser kind of look. I think that's done just for the looks, nothing aerodynamic about it. And the fuel lid is nicely included here with the design element, and you have some nibs here to open it. Small touches go a long way. Anyway, it's kind of loud here, so let's get inside the car and see how the car is, okay? Noise isolation is quite good. Okay, first thing you notice whenever you sit inside the car is this big dash, the big instrument cluster. Let me turn this on. So you see only this part is an entirely digital instrumentation. The rest is a fixed panel, in the sense that you only get these graphics and the telltale lights. So you can't change that. So this is a 10.25 inch instrument cluster. And this is probably the best in its class. It's much bigger than any other car in the market and it's really done well. And the touch panels feel really good. Hyundai is well known for implementing the instrument cluster. This is the similar system in Seltos, in Kia cars too. But the way the menus flow, the touch response, the features are pretty good. And the best part about this is, in CarPlay mode, you get an entire wide screen. In some cars, you just get the middle portion, like on the Harrier or the new Safari. So for instance, look at how big the Google Map location is. Other things that you notice is this nice finish. This is kind of an old school way, yet modern, in the sense that you used to find these in old cars where this design falls off. It is nicely done, but there are the panels are of hard material, not soft touch, and decent cubby space. And you get these nice patterns across the car, here at door handles too. The steering is a big change from previous i20s. Now it is a much more unique looking. These buttons are done flat. I just went for a short drive a while back, and I'm not a big fan of how flush these buttons are. I want to feel them slightly raised, and the volume buttons are kind of cut out. You don't have a recess. The old ones used to have it. It is something you need to touch and feel, guys. That's a personal thing. Wireless charging works. We have a 12-volt socket, 2 USB chargers. That's a lot. Currently the engine is on. I don't know if you can hear it. And the way the AC blades are located is not something I was a big fan of. They direct the air here, and the maximum elevation is here. That can take some time to get used to, but the way they're integrated with this design is pretty good. It's really good. And you have some nice fancy designs here on the seats. They're leatherette seats with some stitching. I wish there was red stitching to indicate that this is a turbo. We have a sunroof, a small sunroof, single touch sunroof to open the window, and single touch to close it too. Sunglass holder, no mirrors here, Mirrors here, but no light. Let's go to the back seat and see the legroom. This seat is set to my seating position, so I'm almost 6 feet tall, but I have decently good enough legroom. I remember the old i20 didn't have so much of legroom, but this one is having quite a lot of space and you can stretch to some extent. Recline angle is also much better than what you find on other hatchbacks in this class like the Altroz or the Polo, and this is probably quite spacious in that regard. And under thigh support is decent. Not the best, it's good for short rides. You have isofix mounts for both the seats. You can put two child seats here, which is pretty good. And these are very easily accessible, the isofix mounts. And also you have AC vents, a phone holder and a USB charger. These are only directional, but you can't control the flow of it. You have the same patterns here for the door handles. This car has Bose 6-speaker Bose audio, one of the best in its class. You have a rear light here. They have two lights there, and you have spaces to keep the seat belts, which is also good. And we have handrests but no cup holders. This is not a 60-40 split, unfortunately. Handles and hooks, coat hooks are also given on both the sides, except for the driver's side. Now let's check out the boot space, okay? That's a decent boot space. You have hooks here, there is a light here if you need it. There's the subwoofer is here. But nice here, they have a Velcro system so this doesn't move, well thought of. That's the rear tire. That's a steel. I wish they had given an alloy one. There is only one position for this, you can't adjust it. The lip here is much higher. If you have to lift stuff, that's going to be slightly irritating. So this thing is detachable, so you can remove the parcel tray. But there is no place to keep this, guys. Since this is not a 60-40 split, you need to hold both the hooks together to put that seat flat down, and that's the space if you have to put it flat down. So this is an emergency lock system that you can do from inside. That's quite good. You have a place to hold in terms of closing the door, and it closes with a good thud. So the rear camera is here. Not a perfect position for that, I wish it was here. Few other bits that I want to talk about. This has an SOS function, a blue link system and a RSA button, but that doesn't have auto dimming rear view mirrors, it's just manual. But one thing I didn't like is the quality. Whenever I was adjusting this, I noticed the sound. I hope that's just with this test car, not all the cars, because I don't see that with any other portion. The interiors are done with real good quality. They're not soft touch, but they're, for this class, it's pretty good. That being said, this costs almost 13 lakhs on road, so you probably expect a bit more for a hatchback. So this is probably the most expensive hatchback you can get from Hyundai, and in that regard, I wish some of the plastics were better. Some of the material choices should have been better too. So in terms of interior quality, I would say 50-50. I'm not entirely impressed by it, but it can be better. If you're putting 13 lakhs, you expect a bit more. All these are done really well, but they're just plastic, guys. I wish there was some soft leather at least. If I'm spending 13 lakhs, I want some premium feel, guys. This looks premium, but it doesn't feel premium to touch. That's the difference. Hope you got it. Anyway, let's go for a drive and see how she drives, okay? Hey guys, we have the new i20. Oh, those are the speed strips on the Kugatpalli flyover. I could feel all the bumps. So in that regard, the suspension on this is not the softest of the lot. It is kind of on the harder side, very sporty. But the ride quality is decent. It's good enough for city. It's not the most plush or comfortable one, but chalega yaar. For a hatchback, this is pretty good. It reminds me a lot of the i20 that I used to have from 2015 to 2018, I guess. That was not the previous generation, but the one generation before that, and I used to like that. The suspension on that was kind of vague. Initially it was hard, but then over time feedback was not that great. I didn't like that suspension so much, but this one feels sporty and hard right now. It feels very sturdy. We have to see over time how this weighs up. So far the cabin's pretty silent. The sound system is excellent. It's Bose speaker system. One thing I rarely miss is the lack of volume controls. If you have to increase the volume, you have to use the touch button or the controllers here. If you're driving this vehicle, you won't have a problem because you'd be using the steering mounted controls. But if you're a passenger, you would miss the knobs big time. And if you can see the broken road, they're relaying the road again. So they're re-grooving it. The NVH levels, noise, vibration and harshness levels are well controlled. but you still get some noise from outside. I've kept the AC blower to the lowest, so you can still hear. You can't hear the engine noise, which is amazing. Hyundai engines have been one of the most refined, especially this petrol is one of the most refined. But once you hit a certain RPM, it gets loud. Engine performance within the city, because there's a DCT, there's an automatic, it's doing pretty well. So this transmission is one of the smoothest that I've tried so far. The gear shifts are hardly noticeable. There is lag. You need to cross 2000 RPM, otherwise there is still some lag. But you have a sports mode here where it holds the gears for a bit more, and you can do manual shifting too. The AC is quite powerful. It's at 24 and still blower is very effective. I've been riding this for the last 15 minutes in the city. It has given me a mileage of 15.5 kilometers per liter. The traffic was very light. The realistic mileage in the city is around 10 to 12 kilometers per liter. Don't expect anything beyond that. If you're going in bumper to bumper traffic, expect much lesser, maybe 8 or 9. So because there's a 1 liter turbo, that's the effect of that. This has 120 PS of power and 175 Nm of torque. As you see in this clip, there is a certain lag till you hit 2000 to 2500 RPM. That's called the turbo lag. And once you cross that, the power delivery is pretty smooth and linear. And the gear shifts are very smooth. I hardly noticed the gear shifts. The braking is okay, not the greatest of the lot. It's just that it takes time. But I'm coming from an EV which has regenerative braking. That's probably nitpicking. If you're coming from a regular hatchback or upgrading from, let's say, a Grand i10, this should feel familiar in pace. Mind you, this has disc brakes at the front and drum at the rear. Maybe that's the reason why they are not that effective. They don't feel that effective. They do stop, but they are not that effective. Need to test other cars in this class to know if their brakes are better, but the other Hyundai that I've experienced is the old i20, and this is way better. Now that I'm here at a signal light, let me just show you some of the features that this car has, and you can switch between screens. So you have navigation here, and you have a tire pressure monitoring system. Tire pressure is probably on the higher side, need to double check that. You have fuel economy, and you can use these to scroll it. So I've reset it at the moment I started, and surprisingly I'm getting good mileage. But realistically, I think the mileage on this is around 10 to 12 kilometers per liter in hard city traffic. I've had some free stretches, hence the mileage was good. On the highway, it should be better. It should be anywhere around 16 to 18. But in the city, I expect 10 to 12 kilometers per liter. You have auto headlights. You don't get auto rain sensing wipers, but you do get auto headlamps. That's also there. And in terms of handling, I think this is a very capable handler, but to a certain extent. In other words, if you're a regular customer who drives it pretty much from point A to B in the city for office or for running errands, you hardly will test that sportiness. This doesn't feel that energetic sporty feel that you get from a Polo or something, where it's a great handler. I've been driving the car in sports mode, and I think this is the default mode that I would enjoy this car in. If I'm in city in peak traffic, I would probably put it in drive mode. In sports mode, the transmission holds the gears for extra long. Till 4 to 5000 RPM is when they hold the gears. In drive mode, it's much earlier, till 2-3000 RPM. You can feel the car come live. The performance is very responsive. It doesn't do anything to the suspension or for any other traction control or any other features, but it's just that the car is very much active in sports mode, and I kind of like that. So sports mode is the way to go in case you want to enjoy the full potential of this car. And you saw how vocal the engine is, but it's not a bad sounding engine. I think I enjoy the sound of this one when it's revving hard. It's really good. But in city mode, it's very peaceful, calm, and when you're on the highway, just put it in sports mode, do those quick overtakes, and it is handling pretty well, surprisingly, compared to the old i20. As I said before, this handles really well for most of the people. For those extreme cases, that's when it kind of stresses a bit. 95% of you won't push the car to your limit ever, guys. So in that regard, for most of the people, this is a fun car to have. A whole after driving for almost half a day and for at least 50 kilometers, I would rate this around 8 out of 10. And the reason I'm giving 8 instead of 8.59 is because the price. It is 13 lakhs on road, and some of the extra features that you get over competition, let's say the Altroz iTurbo, is not convincing yet. I still need to drive that, so my thoughts are still reserved for once I do that. The only big feature that I see is the instrumentation cluster, which is amazing. but you're putting up 2 lakhs more, and for that you're getting Hyundai's reliability, some extra features, and some extra power. If you are not so picky about money, if you think you're already spending 11, I would rather spend 13 and get the Hyundai brand if you are associated to that brand and if you trust it that much more and you want some extra features and the ease of Hyundai, then just go for this one. On the other hand, there is also the thought that if you're saving 2 lakhs, which is a lot of money, and if you're getting close to the same power, then iTurbo might be good enough. So we'll have a test drive of that. So let's see which comes out on the top. You let me know in the comment section what you like, and that's it for today's review, guys. In case you enjoyed this, let me know in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. So take care. Bye bye.